everybody, Sharonda here with another episode of the Red Couch Conversation. And today I have my special guest, Kiana. We're going to talk about housing, being homeowners, what it feels like to be free of rent and free of the obligation of owing someone else. What do you think?
We can try that. Yeah.
We could try that? Okay. So tell me a little bit about your company.
Okay, so my company is Next Home Veterans First Choice. I recently just changed the name of the company. It was Next Home KCS Realty, but since I'm retired military and probably 90% of my agents are veterans, I decided that, you know what, I want to focus on the veteran piece. I can work with anybody, but we're veterans, and that's one of my specialties. Like, since I've been doing real estate, it's been about 20 years now. Actually, exactly 20 years. Majority of my business has been with VA loans and helping fellow veterans, active duty members, et cetera, purchase homes, sell homes. So I just wanted the name of my company to kind of reflect what we stand for, what we represent. So I came up with Veterans First Choice.
Okay, Veterans First Choice. I did hear you say that you do also assist with civilian buyers as well.
Anybody. I can help anybody that needs to purchase or sell a home, land, anything dealing with real estate. I know VA loans inside and out.
Okay.
I mean, I've purchased with it, so that's just my specialty.
We have an expert here, go to a specialist to say, hey, I know VA loans. So if you're military, retired, whatever your discharge status is, reach out, because this is a season for everybody to have that American dream, be a homeowner, to live, I like to say, live rent-free. Pay yourself, because when you're renting, you're actually putting money in somebody else's pocket. They're taking the interest and filing that. They're getting the benefits back. But through home ownership, you are really paying yourself.
Correct.
So what would you say to the person who's undecided if they want to step out and buy a home?
First thing is to I would say, see what you can qualify for. See if you can get pre-approved. Because I've run across so many people that say, oh, I don't wanna buy a house. I'd rather rent, I don't wanna buy a house. And I tell them all the time, if you're renting, you're buying a house. It's just for somebody else.
Right.
So why not, like you said, put that money in your pocket? You get the equity out of that. I always look at rentals, because I've had several. I have one now that's in Texas, but I call my rentals the Christmas gift that it keeps on giving, because somebody else is paying for a house for me.
That's right.
Do I have expenses with that? Yes, but you're gonna have expenses with anything that you buy pretty much. So why not, again, focus on you and let that money work for you?
Okay.
So I would say pre-approval is the first step.
Okay, pre-approval. So when you're looking at buying a house and you're thinking about buying a house, going to your bank or talking to your realtor about pre-approval, what documents should you get together?
So when you first, I know I said pre-approval is the first step. Simultaneously, you should be talking to a realtor.
Okay.
Because that realtor is going to recommend you lenders that they have worked with.
Okay.
And who you get as a lender is very important, because that's the difference between you closing on time.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a difference in how much money you pay as far as your fees and your interest rate. I know that, you'll see everywhere interest rates are this amount, and usually those don't fluctuate. But you also have to understand that every lender has certain fees and certain items that they're going to charge for. So while the interest rate may not be too much different, the other fees are the prepaids and things like that can vary. So you always want to allow your realtor to help you find the lender.
Right.
Because that lender, if you say, okay, I want to close on the 31st of this month, and you get with the lender that doesn't know, I'm not going to say they don't know what they're doing, but sometimes time is not of the essence. And so the timeline goes a little longer, and now you have to try to extend your closing date. Because there are some lenders that I know I've worked with in the past that I do not like working with, and they almost every time they're going to be late, and it's like, we don't want to use those. I have my lenders that I know if they say, hey, we're going to close it on this date, it's going to close.
So it's about building relationships.
building relationships.
Okay,
Absolutely.
building relations. So getting your renter mindset out of the way, and let's get real estate mindset on the table. Getting a realtor, a lender, and it's about relationship building.
Right, and then to answer your question, because I completely jumped over it, what documents are you gonna need? They're gonna ask you for your income documents. So you're gonna need pay stubs, at least 2 months.
Okay.
They're gonna ask you for bank statements,
Okay.
2 months at least. They will definitely look at your W-2s or your tax returns. Depending on your debt to income ratio, they may or may not need those. Sometimes you will have to provide your savings account information, just so that they can see that you have reserves and that you have the money to, if you have to make a down payment, that you have the money for that. Because if you, all of a sudden your statements show that you came up with $50,000 last week,
Right.
they're gonna make you explain that, you know.
Right.
So you want to have stuff in your account, because, you know, there's ways to do everything. But if they're looking at least 2 to 3 months
Right.
of statements, you want to be able to show where, you know, injections of cash have come from.
Right. I like to say maturity money. It's been there.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Okay. So, is it limited to an area, a location? Is it just this county?
No, so I service here, Henderson, Vance, Granville County, Warren County, pretty much anywhere in the Triangle area. I do some service in the Fayetteville area just because of my military affiliation. I've helped friends do business down there. My nephew covers Greensboro, Winston-Salem, that area. I have Corey and Renika Andrews that help cover this area as well.
Okay.
My oldest brother, he works with me also. So
Okay.
we cover this area. And then I also have an office in Texas. And so I have agents that cover the Killeen, Fort Hood area.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of everywhere. And sometimes I do Virginia, depending on where.
So wherever you are, whatever the need is, she can link you, connect you, and make sure that your dream become your reality. So tell us why this is a good place for veterans to stop, because I need veterans to understand that. Take your vision to somebody who understands what you've been through.
Yes. You'd be surprised at how many people do not understand what military personnel go through and how often we move. I've been here at home since 2018. A lot of people don't know that because I keep to myself. But I'm also very, very antsy right now. This is the longest that I've been in one place, 6 years, and I'm like, oh, you know, I think it's time to move. We're used to moving, you know. You're used to picking up every 2 to 3 years and having to pack up everything and go. And that takes a toll. You know, I've worked with clients that I've never seen in person. We have a thing where we trust each other as veterans. And so I've sold houses to people that I've never met. Or I had a gentleman, I sold him a house in Texas. He didn't see the house until he closed on it. He was in Colorado, I was in Alabama. His house was in Killeen, Texas. Fast forward 2 years later, he came to my promotion ceremony in Petersburg. That was the first time I laid eyes on him.
The relationship building.
The relationship building. And
Trust.
then he said, hey, I'm moving to Fayetteville. I need you to help me buy a house in Fayetteville. And I sold him a house in Fayetteville.
Okay.
And so now he's like, hey, I'm about to move again. And I'm like, okay, let's see what we can do. So it's definitely worth it to have someone that you know is going to take care of your best interests and make sure that you get what you need out of this transaction. Because you're purchasing something that's probably the largest purchase of your life.
Exactly.
So if you know, some people have to see it. Me, I don't have to see a house to buy it. I just need to know that, you know, it's got everything that I want in it. I can do it online. Some people have to walk through it and get a feel for it, you know. So I've done walkthrough videos with people. Some of them I just knew the area, I knew the floor plan because I have sold that floor plan before.
Right.
So it really just depends on having a good agent that's going to take care of you and make sure your needs are met. And that's what I do.
And that's what I was going to point out. She said a good agent. I'm going to say a great one, who's knowledgeable, who's trustworthy, who's very much so an expert in the field. So when you're talking about the VA loan and what benefits does the VA or a veteran get from lenders that the average civilian wouldn't receive?
So one of the best features of the VA loan is that you don't have to put down any money.
Okay.
That's not to be confused with no money out of pocket.
Okay.
Because when you say no money down, it's like, oh, so I get this for free. No, you still may have some expenses involved with purchasing a house.
Okay.
But when I say no money down, if your house is $200,000, your loan will be for $200,000.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about having to pay your closing costs on top of putting money down on your house.
Okay.
There is a funding fee that's
Okay.
involved, and depending on your status and how many times you used it, it can be anywhere from, I believe it's like 1.6% up to 3%, 3.1% or something like that. And you can choose how to pay that. You can pay it up front, you can roll it into the loan. But being able to buy a house with no down payment is significant. It's very very similar to the FHA loan,
Right.
which you have to pay 3.5% down.
Right.
That makes a huge difference for some people.
It will.
Because especially now, interest rates are higher,
Mhm.
prices of homes have gone up. So not having to pay up to, 7 to 10% down or total cost, that makes the difference between being able to buy right now and not being able to buy. The average consumer, if you don't qualify for FHA, you're gonna do a conventional loan.
Okay.
And for conventional, that can be anywhere from 5 to 20% down.
Right.
You put down 20%, you don't have to pay the mortgage insurance.
Okay.
If you put down less than that, then you have to pay mortgage insurance,
Right.
which is a little bit more on your payment.
Right.
VA loan does not have the mortgage insurance.
Okay.
So that also makes a difference as far as what you're qualifying for.
So if you're a veteran and you've never used your loan certificate and now you want to use it, do you need to get it recertified so that you can use it, or is it the same one that's over and over and over again?
So if you've never used it before, you would most lenders now can pull your certificate. If you want to see it yourself, you can go to va.gov and
Okay.
you can navigate through. I would be able to tell you, but I haven't done it in a while. But if you go to va.gov, you can actually pull down your own certificate of eligibility. And that will tell you how much of your entitlement you have. If you've
Okay.
never used it, then you have full entitlement. There's no limit to what you can purchase.
Okay.
So if you can qualify for it, you can purchase $1 million home
Right.
with no money down.
Okay. Okay. So do your homework.
Do your homework.
Get your certificate. Find your realtor. Get pre-approved. You got it. Who's this little guy you have here?
Oh, this is Luke.
Okay, Luke.
So Luke is the mascot for our company.
Okay.
Next Home is a company the franchise. I bought into the franchise.
Okay.
So our motto is, as you can see, humans over houses.
Okay.
So we focus on the person and not
Right.
just the transaction. So Luke is the mascot, and he's like a conversation starter, I guess you
Okay.
say. So our color is orange
Okay.
and a gray. So if you see me out and about and I have on orange, that's like my passive way of, marketing and advertising. But Luke, I have several of these, and I think at least 3 have been destroyed by my dogs. So I have to keep them up on something. But I use these to decorate the office. Sometimes I give them to kids.
Okay.
It's just a mascot and our Frenchie. Yeah. So he is a representative, and he to me represents one of our causes, canines.
Okay.
Canine companions.
Okay.
So that is a cause that we support, which provides service animals for people that need them.
Okay.
So yeah, Luke is really just a conversation starter, because a lot of times people are like, "What is Luke? What do you have a dog for?" I think Sean drives with one in the back of his truck.
Okay. Okay. So not only is this opportunity to get information for veterans and to talk about home ownership, but also giving back to an area that can help someone else. And so that is a wonderful cause and a support agency to make sure that people have the service dogs. And so Luke and all of the companions that we will meet, I know they come from a good place. So what else would you like to share with us about your organization?
Let's see. So, like I said, we've been here around. We can help with anything. I help with building your credit. I help with managing finances, because sometimes credit is a thing, you know, that can hinder you and keep you from purchasing. Some things that I would like to mention about the credit, if you're thinking about purchasing a home, really focus on your payments, because when the lenders pull your credit, the first thing they're going to look at is your payment history.
Okay.
So if you have a late payment within the last 12 months, you're going to have to wait. You got to wait 12 months from the last
Okay.
time you had a 30-day late,
Right,
or 30
okay.
days or more. So make sure you're paying attention to that. I try to work with people as far as building it up and helping them get to a point where they can buy. So if you're interested in that, you can always reach out to me.
Okay. How can we reach you?
Well, you can always text me,
Okay.
text or email. My number is, I can give out my number, right?
You can.
Okay. Don't have no crazy, so
Okay.
I've had that happen.
And if you like to inbox me, I can link you as well.
Yeah, we can do that too.
That's
I mean, I'm on Facebook, I'm on social media, Keandra Somerville. My company, Next Home Veterans First Choice, you can search it on Google. Email address is Keandra@KCS Realty. I still use that
Okay.
email. I don't know, I'm just used to it.
Yeah,
I've had it,
yeah.
I've had it for 9 years. My company, when I first started my company, was KCS Realty.
Okay.
I told my brothers it was Keandra, Corey, and Sean.
Oh, make them feel good.
Yeah, but it was really because I'm not very creative, so it's Keandra Crystal Somerville. But for them, it's Keandra, Corey, and Sean. Yeah,
Okay.
to make them feel better.
I hope y'all enjoy that shout out, guys. But listen, we're gonna put the contact information, and if you need additional information, inbox me and I'll make sure I link you all over here, because I want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to stop paying rent, stop paying a mortgage, get the security of having your own. If someone wants to become a real estate agent, what would you recommend for them?
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
First, I need to say everybody looks at it like, oh my gosh, it's so easy. It is not easy. There are days that I decided I don't want to do real estate anymore, because
Okay.
sometimes you work with people, whether it's other agents, just people in the industry, just people in this line of business, where it's just like any other business, where you get frustrated and you're like, you know what, this is not for me. But I love real estate. So I would say, let's talk, let's do some soul searching and
Okay.
say, is this the challenge I want to take on?
Oh, I like
Because
that.
it's not always, you know, it's more involved than just, oh, let me show you this house, and you purchase it and, oh, I get a big check. Yeah, if it was that easy, everybody would be
do
doing
it.
it. But there's definitely, you have to take some classes and get your license, because everything you do has to be licensed. There's several schools here that you can take classes through, online or in person, that will get you to where you need to be. Matter of fact, I spent all day Sunday doing my continuing education classes so I could renew my license in all 3 states. So there's follow-on classes. It's not just, oh, I have my license and now. It's a
Right.
constant learning process, because
Right.
the industry is always changing.
Always.
You know, the biggest change recently was the fact that there were several lawsuits as
Mhm.
far as commission transparency. So what they've decided and what will be coming down the line is that we can't advertise commissions in the MLS, the multi-listing service, which
Right.
is where we show where houses are listed at.
Correct.
So there's changes to that. With VA loans, previously buyers could not pay their own commission.
Okay.
So now they are temporarily suspending that because of the judgment, to figure out, okay, how do we get around this to allow veterans to still buy homes? Because if you run across a seller that's like, oh, I'm not paying a commission, and the buyer has to pay the buyer's agent, and you're using a VA loan, whether you have the money or not, you cannot pay that.
Pay that. Okay.
So they've suspended that temporarily so that buyers can now pay their agents if that is what that transaction requires.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's a constantly evolving and changing industry. So you have to be up on it. You have to take the classes. You have to pay attention to what's going on, so that you can give your clients the best information and make sure they're putting their best foot forward to get what they
Okay.
need.
I want you to be well informed. I want you to trust the process with your agent.
Oh yeah.
Build that relationship, because they're going to have your back 110%. Now, local, Warren County, Vance County, and surrounding areas, it's always good to know somebody that you know is going to look out for you. But have the conversation with them. Tell your relatives about the VA person that can help them get to where they need to be. Don't sit on those certificates and say, hey, I never brought it home because I didn't know how. Here someone says, I can help you in this area. Home ownership is the American dream. Let's make sure we can achieve it. I think that you mentioned something about rates are high, and when you think about the high rates and what impact you on a monthly basis, we gotta understand that it's not gonna just change overnight. It's a process. So if you're trying to repair your credit, she says she can help you. If you're trying to get your dollars and cents together, come talk to her. If you're looking to be a real estate agent, come talk to them. They're open. Anything else you'd like to share?
I'm here for education. That's my biggest thing. Because a lot of times people don't make moves because they don't know or they don't understand. So my biggest thing is let me help you understand, and I'll teach you whatever you need to know.
All right.
I'm an open book.
Now you know, you can grow. I want to thank you for coming out and joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And here at Riddick Events, come do what we always say. Come talk to us before you talk yourself out of your next event. Invite me to your housewarming. See you soon.